Today we will do a question on calculation of goodwill or capital reserve, as well as calculation of minority interest and calculation of or doing analysis of profits involved in the chapter on holding. So let's read this question. You are given the extracts of the balance sheet of H Limited and S Limited on 31st March 2015. The equity share capital is given for the holding and subsidiary, 12% preference share capital, general reserve, P&L account and investments in S Limited account is given to you. And the additional information says H Limited acquired 30,000 equity shares, 30,000 equity shares and 2,000 12% preference shares in S Limited on 1/7/14 at the cost of 6,80,000 and 30,000 respectively. The credit balance of P&L account of S Limited as on 1/4/2014 was 2,25,000 and that of general reserve on that date was 6 lakhs. The second point says on 30th September 2014, S Limited declared dividend at the rate of 20% on equity shares for the year 13-14. H Limited credited the receipt of all the dividends to its P&L account. On 1/1/2015, S Limited issued 2 shares for every 5 shares held as bonus shares. No accounting effect has yet been given in the books of H Limited. You are supposed to calculate the minority interest, and goodwill or capital reserve on consolidation. So, if you compare with this question with a full-fledged question on a comprehensive question on holding, then this is a rather short question where you are just being asked to calculate minority interest and goodwill or capital reserve instead of coming up with the whole consolidated balance sheet. So let's see what all things you will be doing. The basic data you are first, whenever you attempt a question on holding, you are supposed to come up with the basic data, which will include understanding what is the date of acquisition. The date of acquisition is 1/7/14, 1/7/2014, and your pre-acquisition profits period will start from 1/4/14 to 1/7/14, and your post acquisition period will go from 1/7/14 to 31st March 2015, on which the balance sheet is given. Extract of the balance sheet is given. To come up with the share of holding, share of H has got 30,000 shares and in the balance sheet you can see this is 70,000. Is it becoming holding? No. If you read the question is saying on 1st January 2015, S issued 2 shares for every 5 shares held as bonus shares, and no accounting effect has been given in the books of H, which means that you have issued the bonus shares on 1/1/15 and the extract of the balance sheet is given on 31st March 2015, which indicates that this 7 lakhs is inclusive of the bonus shares which were issued on 1/1/15. So you will first calculate the original share capital. The original share capital is, if it was X, then you have issued 2 shares for every 5 shares. So this original plus bonus is equal to 70,000, and over here X becomes 50,000. So therefore, this is not to be divided by 70,000, but rather 50,000. So you have to be very careful if bonus shares are involved and you are given the extract of the balance sheet. You have to check whether this is inclusive, that is the share capital in the extract of the balance sheet is inclusive of the bonus shares or not. So you have to be very careful in calculation, otherwise your whole calculation will go wrong. So when you do this is 60% and the share of minority becomes 40%. So this is about the basic data which you are supposed to come up with. Now let's see the question. Now over here, as you can see, you are given the general reserve account and the P&L account. Whenever there is a general reserve account, it might just be possible that you have increased your reserves. You have increased your reserves in the current year. That is the subsidiary I'm talking of. The subsidiary may or may not have increased the general reserve. That is, it has appropriated some amount from the P&L, that is the surplus account, to the general reserve. And nothing is given in the question, so you will have to find out. And how will you find it out? You are supposed to come up with first preparation of the general reserve, and then we will prepare the P&L account as well. Though the question is not asking you about this, but you are supposed to do that so that you can understand how much is appropriated for the year, or if there is any appropriation or not. So let's see the general reserve account. Your general reserve account, this is for subsidiary S Limited, and you are given the fact that the balance which is brought down is 6 lakhs. On 1/4/14 it is 6 lakhs. So my opening balance was 6 lakhs, and the extract of the balance sheet is telling you that the closing balance for S Limited is 4,48,000. So 4,48,000 is there, but you can see that if in the opening of the year I was available with 6 lakhs, and by the end of the year I am available only with 4,48,000. This means I have used some amount of money from this account for some purpose. Now I have to find out for what purpose, or what all entries will go in this account, or how will your general reserve account look like. So you have to find it out, that what all entries must have been going into this account. So what you will do is, you will just look out for some hidden information from the question. And in the first point, you are given the number of shares held by the holding, and you're given the opening balances of P&L in the general reserve. In the second point, you are given some information about the dividend being paid. Dividend paid goes in the P&L account, so it's a P&L item. And the third point says on 1st January, S issued 2 shares for every 5 shares held as bonus shares. Now, this means you are not given any funding, from where the funding was done for the bonus shares. So over here, we will assume that the bonus shares were issued from general reserve account, and therefore that must have decreased the balance from 6 lakh to somewhere near about 4 lakhs. So we will say bonus issue in the general reserve account. You have done or issued bonus to the extent of, we just now calculated, it is coming out to be the difference of 20,000 into 10, that is 2 lakhs. So 2 lakh amount is being used from the general reserve account for the issuance of bonus shares. And now the rest can be the profit and loss account transfer, which is over here as the balancing figure. And the balancing figure is coming out to be, as you can see, this is 48,000. So 6,48,000 is your total. So from this general reserve account, we can see that the difference amount was a decrease, and that decrease, why that was decreased, no other information is given in the question. So we will assume that it was decreased for the purpose of showing bonus. And once you do that, you will be coming up with you will be landing to the conclusion that some amount was also appropriated from the surplus account to the general reserve account. So this is an entry which was over here hidden, and you can find out that hidden information only once you prepare the account. So let's over here similarly calculate or prepare the P&L account for S Limited. The P&L balance over here given to you on 1/4/14 is 2,25,000. And from the extract of the balance sheet, you can see that the closing balance is 1,77,000. Now let's see what all items may have to be considered while preparing the P&L account. One item we have already understood from the preparation of the general reserve, that there is a appropriation involved over here, that is to the extent of 48,000. We have appropriated this much to the general reserve. The second hidden thing over here, not really hidden but obvious, is that you are involved with preference share capital over here, and the preference share dividend is 12%. Since over here you are declaring, that is S Limited is declaring dividend for the equity shares, it is but obvious that the preference dividend must have been paid, and there is no information about the preference dividend being paid. So therefore you will assume, at least when you prepare the P&L account for the whole year for S, that there must have been, though the extract of the information is not showing that, but over here when we prepare this P&L account, we will assume that you must have provided for 12% preference dividend before you can declare the equity dividend. So no matter whether you have prepared it or not, no matter the fact given to you is in the extract of information, there is no proposed preference dividend account as such. No matter whatever information is given to you as per this question, you will have to include the preference dividend item when you prepare the P&L account, and this P&L account is for the whole year 2014 to 15. So when you prepare for the whole year, you obviously will include all the items which were involved for the whole year, and before you can go for the equity dividend adjustment over here, you have to go for preference dividend. Now preference dividend is 12% of 50,000. So that becomes proposed preference dividend. 12% of 50,000 is 6,000. And then you are also given that you have declared equity dividend. Now equity dividend, the equity dividend is over here given on 30th September 2014 as declared dividend at the rate of 20% on equity shares for the year 2013-14. Now over here, should I take 20% of 7 lakhs? No. Reason being that this dividend is being declared for the year 13-14. For the year 13-14. And this share capital, which is standing over here on 31st March 2015 in the extract of the balance sheet, is inclusive of the bonus issue. So you will not be paying the dividend on bonus shares as well, because this dividend has been paid for the year 13-14. So it must be paid for the share capital which was standing on 1st April 2014, because it is being paid for the year 13-14. So at that point only 50,000 shares were there. So you will not be paying 20% into 20% of 7 lakhs, but rather 20% of 5 lakhs. You just now calculated 50,000 shares. So you will be paying dividend on only 50,000 shares up to 20%. And so 20% of 50,000 is 1 lakh. So I hope this is clear to you. Now, one point which needs reflection over here is that if I go back to the general reserve account, you were given the opening balance, you were given the closing balance, and we included all the items on the debits and the credit side without any adjustments, which means we are taking it for granted that this 6 lakhs and this 4.48 lakhs is inclusive of these adjustments already being done. This will get reflected over here, and this bonus issue is already reflected over here. Once you have reflected both these items, then your balancing opening balance and closing balance was this. But when you go to the P&L account, then over here you have balance, opening balance as this, and the closing balance is given as like this. The general reserve appropriation we have already appropriated, because both these figures are after this appropriation. Equity dividend also is already given to you in the question, has been done. But proposed preference dividend was not given to you in the question. Moreover, all these figures are not inclusive of this fact that whether this 6,000 was not inclusive of the fact that this 6,000 has not been adjusted. So this 1,77,000 figure over here will further have to be adjusted by 6,000. And then maybe we can say that this 1,71,000 now is reflective of the very fact that this 6,000 has already been adjusted in this figure. I hope you understand why I have changed this 1,77,000. So this 1,77,000 will get changed, and now your profit earned is the balancing figure over here, which is coming out to be 1 lakh. So please understand that you have to understand this basic idea that whatever balances you are given, these balances are given after adjusting other items which were included, debited or credited to this particular account. But this proposed preference dividend has not been included because it is not reflective that whether it is included or not. So we will assume it was not included. So over here, this 1,71,000, this 1,77,000 must have been before adjustment of this 6,000. So that is why we first we include this also, and then we adjust this balance, because this balance was without adjustment of this proposed preference dividend. So let's go to the next item over here. Before you can come up with the adjustment of your or calculation of your minority interest and the goodwill or capital reserves, you have to first do what we have already in one of my videos I have already explained. You have to do the analysis of profit and come up with the pre-acquisition, post-acquisition, or capital profit or revenue profits. Now, capital profits revenue profits, this is nothing but pre-acquisition profits, this is post-acquisition profits, and we also will create revenue reserve because there is general reserve over here included. These two items will get reflected in the balance sheet separately, so that is why I have separated them. But over here, capital, whether they are profits or reserves, they have to be treated in one account, that is cost of control account, and therefore you are not supposed to, you may avoid separating them. So let's see how you do that. Now, before, in the previous question, we have I have shown you that before you can you have to start with the opening balance. Since we are given the opening balances of the P&L and as well as the general reserve over here, so you will first start with the opening balances. But before you start with the opening balance of profit, we will first deal with opening balance of general reserve. Opening balance of general reserve, and that over here is given to you as 6 lakhs. Now 6 lakhs is standing on 1/4/14, and from this we can see that the 1/4/14 date is belonging to the pre-acquisition period. So this whole 6 lakhs belongs to the category of capital profits over here. Now we have over here, out of the 6 lakhs, we have utilized some part in issuing bonus shares. So this will reduce the capital profit to that extent, and our bonus shares in the cost of control account will increase. So we'll reduce the capital profits from here, and we'll rather capitalize it in while calculating your goodwill and capital reserve as well as your cost of control. Okay, so you have over here the amount of the bonus shares is 2 lakhs. So we'll reduce that from the capital profits. In addition to this, we have created the reserves. So it has been an addition to the opening balance of general reserve. So we'll add the reserve created during the year. And as you can see, we have created 48,000. So 48,000 will be divided in the ratio of the pre and the post acquisition period, which is 3:9. And once you do that, you will have 12,000, an increase in the capital profits, and it is a reserve, so I will not add anything in the reserve profits but rather in the revenue reserves. 12,000 and 36,000. Now, so this was the story of general reserve. Now let's see profit and loss account, opening balance of P&L. The opening balance of P&L, 2,25,000, stands on 1/4/14, so it is fully belonging to capital profits 2,25,000. Just like we have done it for the general reserve, we will see item wise and accordingly try to divide that into the various pre-acquisition period and the post-acquisition period. So let's see. We will first start with the transfer of the general reserve. We have done the general reserve over here to the extent of 48,000. Now, what I'll want to understand is how much profit. See, your accounting period starts from 1/4/14 and goes till 31st March 15. The period of this 12 months, I have earned profits. And in accounts, you know that whatever profit is earned during the year is assumed to be earned uniquely in uniformly throughout the year. So in every month, you will assume that the profit was earned. So I want to understand that out of this general reserve being appropriated out of the profits earned, how much profit was used out of the pre-acquisition period to create general reserve, and how much profit was used from the post-acquisition period to create general reserve, right? So the profit which was used for appropriation also have to be divided into pre and post. So my you can say transfer or appropriation, general reserve appropriation. So general reserve is being appropriated to the extent of 48,000, and 48,000 is to be appropriated in the ratio of 3:9 again. So out of 48,000, how much is going to your capital profits? Out of this capital profits, I have transferred 12,000, which belongs to the capital profits, to the general reserve. And over here you can see that item is getting added into the capital profits under the general reserve adjustments. And 36,000 now over here is going to be reduced from revenue profits, because we are over here starting with P&L account and we are reducing, this is a debit to the P&L account, so we are going to reduce 36,000 from the revenue profits. Now let's see, my next item is proposed preference dividend. Again, this is another appropriation being done, utilization of the P&L account, a debit to the P&L account. So we'll say proposed preference dividend to the extent of 6,000, and this again is to be divided in 3:9 ratio, which is 1,500 and 4,500, being a decrease in the revenue profits. The next item is over here equity dividend, again which is a debit. Now, will we divide this into 3:9 ratio? The answer is no. Why? Because we assume over here you have declared the dividend on 39, but it was declared for the year 13-14. So we will assume that this 1 lakh is being paid directly from this opening balance. This opening balance is the profit which you have earned from the previous years, and it belongs to the capital profits. So we can conclude over here that whatever equity dividend was paid or declared, this whole 1 lakh was funded from the previous year profits, which is nothing but capital profits. So we will not divide this, but rather fully reduce it from our capital profits. The next thing involved over here is nothing but left out is the profit earned. The profit earned would be added to the opening balance. It is added. So we will say profit earned, and this profit earned belongs differently, proportionately to the different pre and the post acquisition periods. So we'll say we'll divide 1 lakh into the ratio of 3:9 amongst the two categories. And your profit earned comes out to be 25,000, and this will be under the revenue profits, not reserves, 75,000. And then now you can just total out all the categories. The total of this category is 5,48,500, 34,500, and 36,000. And then you calculate the share of holding and the share of minority. %60 of 5,48,000 is 3,29,100. 40% of 5,48,000 is 2,19,400. 60% of 34,500 is 20,700, and 40% is 13,800. 60% of 36 is 21,600, and 40% is 14,400. So this is your analysis of profit table. Now let's see the next item involved over here. The first was we did basic data. Secondly, we prepared the general reserve account. Then we prepared the P&L account. Fourthly, we did the analysis. And fifth is now we will do the calculation of minority interest. Now, calculation of minority interest will include calculation or adding or subtracting whatever of all your claims which belongs to the minority. The very first claim is nothing but paid up value of your minorities equity shares, and you can divide the original equity share, total equity shares into original equity shares plus the bonus shares and show it in two items, or you can just say including bonus shares. In whatever ways you want to do, both are right. So held by minority is over here. You can just simply pick up 7 lakhs figure, which is after bonus, and say 40% of it. The next is your paid up value of preference share capital. Now, preference share capital is not to be done as per 60% and 40%. This is a very important point in which there are chances to do a mistake. Over here, this ratio which we have calculated is for equity shares, and the ratio you will not apply it automatically on the preference shares also. The preference share ratio may be different because preference shares don't include voting rights or controlling rights. So therefore, you will not include that over here unless and until the question is specifically saying that preference shares had voting rights. So over here, you had 2,000 being in the being invested in the S Limited by H. So automatically that means that rest is belonging to the preference shares. or the rest of the your preference shares belongs to the minority. Now H has got only 2000, so 2000, and this is 50,000. Yes, 50,000. 2000 into 10 rupees share, and therefore you have 30,000. So 30,000 belongs to the, you can say that 50,000 minus 2000 into 10, 30,000. We will add only those things which are on which the minority has certain claims. Now, as we have already calculated, these are the shares of the minority, so you will just keep on adding all these things. So you have M's share, minority's share in capital profits. It is this figure. Then you will add M's share in revenue profits. It is this figure. And then M's share in revenue reserves, which is this figure. So you can see that how you first calculate and divide all the capitals and capital profits and revenue reserves or revenue profits into the two parts, pre-acquisition and the post-acquisition period, and then how do you treat, where do you take these divisions, divided items. All these shares of the minority gets added to the minority interest, because minority has, what do you mean by this? Minority has this much percentage of claim over these profits and reserves, which we have to show in the consolidated balance sheet and call that as minority interest. Now, one more thing which is related with the shares is equity dividend and proposed preference dividend. Now, the point about equity dividend which I like to highlight is that equity dividend will not get added over here. Reason being, it has already been paid, which means there is no more claim which needs to be shown in the minority interest. But there is no information whether the proposed preference dividend was paid or not. So over here we will add the M's share in proposed preference dividend over which they have their claim, which needs to be highlighted in the consolidated balance sheet. And how much is the share of the minority in the proposed preference dividend? We have total 6,000, and you can say 33 or 30,000 whatever upon 5,000, which gives us 3,600. So out of the 6,000 proposed preference dividend, you have to pay 3,600 to the minority. And now you just total it out. The total is nothing but minority interest, and that is coming out to be 5,61,200. Now let's see the last item involved over here, that is the sixth item, which is calculation of goodwill or capital reserve. And for this, you take the difference between the net cost of investment and the holdings share in the net assets. So let's quickly just say and calculate, what is my net cost of investment? My net cost of investment, that is the holdings net cost of investment, is the cost of your equity investment, which is given to you in the question as 6,80,000 and 30,000. So we can add preference investment as well. 6.8 plus 0.3, 7 lakh 10,000. Then you have received a return on this investment, and that return is nothing but you will first reduce equity dividend which is being paid. The equity dividend was 20%. So what is the share of holding? You will include that, and it also says that the dividend is 1 lakh. So you will take 60% of 1 lakh, 60,000. This is not an addition, but rather this is not an addition to the cost, but rather a return of what you paid, or investment, return on investment. Plus you will also say proposed preference dividend, which you are yet to receive. Proposed preference dividend. The share of H is but you will not take this directly as 60% of 6,000, not 6,000. Why not 6,000? Because over here you will include in the calculation of cost of control or goodwill or capital reserve only that dividend which has been paid from capital profits. This whole 1 lakh was paid from the opening balance of the profit. Similarly, this 6,000, only 1,500 is being paid. We have divided this whole 6,000 into two categories. 1,500 belongs to the pre-acquisition period and this belongs to the post. That means you have used 1,500 from the capital profits and 4,500 from the revenue profits. So only the capital portion will be included or considered in calculation of goodwill or capital reserve. So capitalized, please always remember, capitalized items only are capital nature item will only be considered in calculation of goodwill or capital reserve. Revenue items are never included in calculation of this. So rather we will not say 6,000, but rather we will say 60% of 1,500. And that comes out to be 600. The net amount comes out to be 6,49,400. This is my net cost of investment. The second thing which I am going to calculate over here is the share in net assets. Of course, share of H. The share of H in net assets is nothing but paid up value of the shares, I would say, and you have equity which is inclusive of bonus issue. How much is that? Paid up value means you have to pick up the figure from here. You have to pick up the figure from here. That is the extract of the balance sheet. So you have basically 7 lakhs into 0.6. 7 lakh into 0.6, which is 4,20,000. And the second part is preference share capital, which is you had 2,000, 10 rupees per share. So costing is more than what I have received. So is it okay? I have missed out one more thing. You are also supposed to come up with the share of H ka share in capital profits. And what is that? 32,900, sorry, 3,29,100. So we will add that 3,29,100. So that is coming out to be 7,69,100. So my goodwill is, okay, now this is, costing is 6 lakh something and what you have received is 7 lakh something. So we can just say that goodwill is, sorry, not goodwill, capital reserve is 7.691 minus 6.494. So my capital reserve is 1,19,700. I hope that now this is clear to you. Now, what I will like to highlight is that in this question, we had following important points, the highlights of the question I am just writing. You have the point on bonus shares. You have to understand how it is funded. You have to understand about the funding. Plus, in bonus shares, you have to be careful in calculation of your H ka share percentage. When you calculate that, you have to be very careful on this. Then, secondly, we have seen about preference dividend. Preference dividend not given to you in the question information. You will, if equity dividend is involved, preference dividend automatically has to be taken care of. Thirdly, you have to understand that this is equity dividend for previous year, and when you say previous year, this is a hint about funding, so that you can understand how much is from pre and how much is from post. Fourthly, you have to understand that your, if like in this question, if preference dividend was not considered in all the figures which were given to you in the question, in that case you will adjust the closing balance of P&L as well, as we have done over here. You have adjusted the closing balance of the P&L, this one. Then fifthly, I would say that the dividend, you can say the dividend being equity dividend, which is paid to minority, will not be added in the minority interest. Reason being, they have already been paid. Whatever has been paid will not be included or added in the minority interest, because this minority interest basically shows the claims which they have not been paid, which needs to be shown in the consolidated balance sheet, which needs to be highlighted. So I hope now this is clear to you.